Hello world, this is Daniel Rucker on True Table coming to you with another video. I wanted to get back in here. As you can see, my background is a little different. I'm actually at home, which is totally fine. I'm still trying to find the flow on how I'm going to go about doing these broadcasts and what works best for my schedule, during the day and what's not. I still have a daytime hustle. I'm an executive chef. So I'm pretty busy for the most part, but that's not going to stop me from bringing the content to you guys and what my perspective is on a lot of these topics and things that I'm going to be talking about. So I hope up to this point that you have enjoyed what you have viewed from what I've been putting out, and there is more to come. I'm going to keep it as fresh as possible. I'm going to keep it as fun as possible. Definitely going to keep it raw. Anyone who knows me knows I speak my mind. Don't hold back, don't care. So that's what you're going to get from this channel. But you're going to get a lot of things from this channel. My content, my perspective, informative information, hopefully for those people who and maybe don't stumble across some of this information and things of that nature. So, again, my name is Daniel Rucker. And let's get familiar. Let's get started. Before I go into it, if you get a chance, you get a second, please go ahead and like this video, hit the subscribe button, for the YouTube algorithm. Let's get things going, get things flowing, as I definitely want to continue to reach more people and help those who are getting good information from myself and it's helping them in their daily lives. So the topic I wanted to talk about without further ado is something that I have personally lived myself. And I think it's pretty relative and pretty much on trend. But it's an issue. It's something that, as a man, I think you'll encounter and things that will come with it. And I just felt that there's not a lot of people who are giving any information relative to this topic. So what I want to talk about is how to date single mothers and what to expect from them. Now, this particular topic does pertain to both parties in a sense. If you are a single mother and that's your situation, your lifestyle, definitely can help you. If you're a man who is potentially pursuing a single mother or is open to pursuing a single mother, this will definitely help you as well. So why do you want to talk about this, Daniel? Why is this something that you feel is necessary? Well, I'm going to tell you. The reality is, in our current day life, in our current dating market, the likeliness of you running into a single mother anywhere between the ages of, I would say, 21 to 30 is relatively high. I got a few statistics for you, because I try to come prepared and try to give you guys information. But just from 1980 to 2008, and we're on 2021 currently, the single parent rate, and yes, that is parent rate, was 18.4% in 1980. And as of 2008, the last time they checked, it was 40.6%. That's more than double of what it was over the course of, 28 years? That's a huge jump. That's a huge leap. The percentage now, I went further and I looked into it. Now, it does say single parent, so that does mean that there's single fathers as well as single mothers. However, on the percentage side, the single mothers is ranking a lot higher. If off the top of my head, forgive me, but those statistics, if I'm not mistaken, out of that, it may have been about 3.4% of that 18.4 at one point and the 40.6. So there's still a good 97% of single parents that are mothers. And that's just the law of the land currently. Now, why is this important? This is important because it's a real-time problem. A lot of times as young men, when you're out here and you're dating and trying to be your best self and, trying to find the best match for you, you'll run into single mothers. It's a part of the equation. It's a part of what's out here in the market. Now, again, why I'm talking about this is because I have real life experience. This is coming from a guy that at one time would not talk to single mothers, wouldn't deal with them. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't care because in my opinion, that's something you choose. Now I know there's somebody on this end saying, well, you don't know their situation and you don't know how. Yeah, you're right. I don't have time to go across the globe and figure out each and every person's situation and why they chose to get pregnant and why they chose to carry a baby to term and why they chose to have a child in the first place. It's not really my concern. What is my concern is that if that is your lifestyle and that is your equation, then there's a way that as a man I expect for that to be handled and that to be navigated. And I think that that's not talked about enough. I think that for the most part, there is this automatic, how would I want to say this? There's this automatic expectation that as a single mother, if you are dating, that a man that meets you is supposed to just arrive and be totally okay with your situation and totally okay with the fact that you had a child, regardless of the circumstances. You had a child that's not his, and he's supposed to be okay with it. I'm here to tell you that, ladies, that is not necessarily the case. If you are fortunate enough to meet a man that chooses to deal with you, and yes, I said chooses to deal with you with having a child, you should be thankful and you should be tremendously grateful, because the reality is he doesn't have to. Now, some more statistics for you. The average income of a single mother in 2019, more current stats, was $45,128. Why is this important? This is important because anyone that understands being an adult, one of the components of being an adult requires you to be earning a fair amount of income. Take care of rent, take care of mortgage if you're fortunate enough to have a home, take care of a car note, cell phone, etc., entertainment, etc. So we understand as adults that there's a certain amount of income necessary or expected income to have once you reach a certain point in life. And if you're a single mother, and the average income for a single mother as of 2019, based on the statistics, was $45,128. That means that you're not making that much money. Why is that important, fellas? Why is that important, ladies? It's important because that means that your income is of minimal impact from what you're carrying. Now, I'm gonna for the sake of argument in the scenario that I'm gonna put out, let's just assume that this is just one child. To raise one child is expensive, let alone if this is just so happens to be a single mother that has 2 or 3. So then it just gets worse. So what does that mean? What that means, ladies, is that you are now having to align yourself with a man that is earning more than likely what you earn, if not more. I would assume that in most cases, from what I've experienced in my own life and things I've heard as well as read and research, the average woman wants her man to make more money than her. And not a little bit more, but substantially more. So why is, again, this is important? This is important because in the dating phase, and from anyone who's done it or doing it and plan on doing it, it requires money. It requires you to utilize those resources that you work hard for to create these experiences. These are dinners, these are dates, this is movies, going out, period. It's just expensive. And if you are a single mother and you have a daily expense, a weekly expense, a monthly expense with just you having a child, and your earning potential is on a lower level, well, you're already starting off from a bad place because you're coming with little income and baggage. So that's why it becomes the issue. Some of the other talking points I wanted to bring, it was the fact that dealing with a single mom, and like I had mentioned earlier, I personally wouldn't have dealt with a single mom had I not had an experience with the single mom at some point in my life. I'm in my mid-30s now, but more so my mindset was like this specifically in my 20s. You could not sell me a single mom. You couldn't beg me to talk to a single mom because I assumed what it was going to be for me. Now, my point that I'm trying to make is not so much what is the likeliness of you running into one of those rare individuals that just so happens to have, the beauty, the brains, the economics and all of the other components that just so happens to be a mother. That could happen. I'm one of those people, and I feel like with most men, deal with the world that is more based in reality and based in logic. I try not to live my life based on a lottery system. What do I mean by that? I mean is that you're more than likely going to run into a woman who has a child, that the components of what it is to be an adult as well as having a child, whether there's no baby daddy drama, her economics are on point, her body's on point, her peace of mind is on point, her emotions are in check. Those things may not all be clicking on all cylinders at the moment you meet her. These are things to look out for, fellas. Why is it hard to date someone that is a single mother? Well, her time is already chewed up. You know, you as a man coming into the equation, you are a stranger in her automatic pre-made family. Yes, ladies, that's the reality. If you're dating a man that is not the father of your child, he's a stranger. Why is that a problem? That's a problem because he's now having to compete for your attention, your time, your energy with the little one that is already your priority. And most men do not want to have that equation be a part of their daily lives, weekly lives, monthly lives, or even the equation period when they're trying to get to know just you. It's problematic. It's more work. Now, this broadcast is definitely not intended to bash or bring any type of negativity to the situation that is being a single mother. These things happen. What I'm trying to do is frame what that world looks like, what that particular situation brings. When I did decide to date a single mother, what led me to that situation, and this is where I'm hopefully going to add more value to what fellas you should be looking for if you decide to take this journey. She needs to be mature. She needs to be living as an adult. What do I mean by living as an adult? She needs to have her lifestyle set up to date. Most single mothers, in my experience and the things that I've researched, as well as experience hands-on, the collective experience through friends and associates and things, they don't set their life up to really date. They don't accommodate what dating is now being a single mother. Excuse me. Because dating when you are without child is completely different than when you actually have a child. And I'm pretty sure that any single mother knows this. The problem is that they don't factor in the man that is to come into their lives. They don't take a survey of their life. They don't ask themselves, well, what's my living situation? Well, how much money do I make? Well, if I am going to date somebody, how much time is he going to need from me? What is that going to look like? Am I going to be willing to give him the time on top of working full time and providing for my child and giving my child the attention that they need? How old is my child? What are going to be the requirements of this man when we do actually forge a relationship and maybe potentially grow together? How's that we're going to navigate that? These are all the things that she is responsible for. Yes, you, ladies, you're responsible for it. It is not a man's job to come into your life and organize your crap. That's your child. That's your situation. You consciously chose to have that child. You consciously chose to bring the child into the world and raise that child. So you are the sole responsible individual when it comes to how you are going to present yourself in a dating world if you just so happen to date. It is not a man's responsibility to have to help you with that. It's not his responsibility. To be very frank, in my opinion, I feel that if you are a single mother, you really need to understand that he should not feel the ramifications of your lifestyle. Your lifestyle shouldn't reflect any differently than a woman that he's dealing with that doesn't have your situation. Now, some people may feel that that's wrong. Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I feel like if I'm not coming into the equation with the same amount of baggage that you have, then it's a natural thing to expect that you present to me the woman that I'm pursuing, the woman that I'm trying to get to know. I'm not trying to be an automatic family man. I'm not trying to, do campfires or, family, what are those things called at school? Teacher parent conferences. Like, that's not my life. I'm thinking about me and you. I'm thinking about how awesome you are. I'm thinking about, if I like you that much. And I think that really needs to be given a lot of attention, because a lot of young ladies don't understand that when a man is interacting with you, you're constantly on review. You're constantly on display. He's constantly assessing if this is going to be someone that I could settle down with, build with. This is when you don't even have a child. You have a child, it's a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother ballgame. So ladies who have children, ladies who are single mothers, you have to be awesome. I mean, awesome. Not only do you have to be great, you have to be better than the women who don't have children. Now, I can already hear on the other end of this broadcast some women like, yo, who's this chocolate boy thinking he can tell us how we're supposed to be and what that's supposed to be, or that's not fair, whichever, however. Ladies, I'm trying to be direct and as candid as possible. As a single mother, it is a tremendous responsibility to raise a child. That's just what it is. And as a man that is coming into your equation, he should not have to feel the need to come and lift, hold, carry, handle, maneuver, change, build anything that has to do with your life decision that you made before he met you. That's what it is. If you want to be a woman, because in my opinion, if you have a child, you're a woman. Again, this is my opinion. Why do you say that, Daniel? I say that because sex is an adult-like activity. Sex has consequences, a lot of them actually. And one of those consequences, or one of those reactions, or one of those outcomes, we'll use the word outcomes, can be a child. Well, when a person that is a woman decides to have a child, in my opinion, you're an adult. And what comes with adult-like living is responsibility, accountability. What comes with adult-like living is you having a lifestyle that best permits for you to be eligible to date a man who's single, if you decide to do that. Now, one of my suggestions has been, depending on the situation of a single mother, is not to date for at least 10 years. And that's a relative option. That's something that you as a woman can do. You can opt out of the dating world. You can keep things casual. You can keep things on the light side. You don't have to necessarily put yourself in a position to date a man on a serious level, because quite frankly, it's your job, your lifestyle, your focus is that kid. And that's fair. But you as a woman cannot decide that you are going to give him half effort, or a fraction of effort, a fraction of attention, a fraction of valuable time because of your kid. That's not his problem. That's your problem. And I see it too often to where single moms feel that we owe them some type of pass or some type of courtesy because you have a kid. Newsflash, we don't. The man showing up without that equation, without that baggage, should not have to experience, again, your lifestyle in a negative way. And you're competing with women who don't have children. Because as a man who is single, he can very much well go out and find a woman who doesn't have a child. But if you see value in that man, sweetie, it is your job to build your life as an adult to accommodate what you decided to do as far as date. Now, what does that look like? Well, it's my personal experience. I have seen to where young women will have their child, stay at home with their mother, which that's fine. That's what you have to do, and that's what works best for you and your kid. Cool. The problems arise is when the demand on your time becomes an issue. And I think that that's not heavily factored in. I think that when women decide to have children and then the things didn't work out with the child's father, that now they're deciding to date, I feel that there is a huge amount of preparation that is necessary for you to be successful if you decide to start dating. What does that look like? Well, that means that whatever your living situation is, you need to make sure that your child is covered, whether that's you living alone, whether it's you living with your parents, a parent, whichever. You have to understand that 9 times out of 10, if you have a child, if you're a single mom and you're dating a man and you guys are trying to spend adult-like time together, whether that's Netflix and chilling, having a date night inside, going out, it's your job to figure out who's going to cover your kid. And this is what I mean by the preparation. This is what I mean by it's necessary to be an adult. In my opinion, once your child reaches a certain age, you should have created a network to be able to protect, cover, look after, take over, assist with the raising of that child. Whether that's the child's father, whether that's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your neighbor, it doesn't matter. Because in order for you to date and date successfully, ladies, you're going to have to make yourself available. And remember that a girl without a child doesn't have these limitations. Her time is not necessarily going to be split or trimmed down or shared. And that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with real life scenario that a man who's coming into your life that is of value and quality, who's trying to get to know you, it is your job to make him a priority with your time and your energy. I get tired of sometimes when women have children and they have such a low disregard for men and their time that they just feel like, well, I have a kid, so what? That's what it is. You want to deal with me? That's what it is. Well, no, I don't have to deal with you. I can deal with someone who doesn't have your situation. And I think that there needs to be some level of humility and respect for another person's time, another man's time. Because if he sees the value in you, if he's able to get past the fact that you have a child, he sees value in you, And I'm not talking about one of these dudes who just want to, bend you over and get some and have a good time. I'm talking about somebody who's really trying to get to know you on some real organic, crap, something of quality and of substance. Well, he's worth you converting. He's worth you being inconvenienced, because guess what? Your child is an inconvenience. That's what it is. Let's see. My talking points. Yeah. Sorry. I mentioned this already, but I'll reiterate it. As a single mom, it is your responsibility to create a balanced and stable lifestyle for a man to want to be involved in. I can't stress this enough. One of the most unattractive things, past the fact that you have a child, if you do have a child and this man has convinced himself to want to still pursue you, to want to still get to know you, regardless of the fact that you have a child, one of the biggest turnoffs, one of the quickest ways to get a man to run is to have a child exemplify undisciplined behavior, hellish, devilish, like bad behavior. That is probably the quickest. It's a wrap. Like, you want to put a fork in it, kill it, bury it. It's a wrap. Because no man wants to deal with someone else's problems, especially bad problems. I can't tell you how many times, and this again is where, so let me backtrack a little bit. Why I came to the conclusion I would consider myself someone who was fairly open-minded. and someone who, loved people. I still am this way. And prior to me ever considering even dating a single mother, the reason why I came to that conclusion is because I had the benefit of having friendships and associations with young ladies who had kids. And these were just girls that I was getting to know, hanging out with, building friendships. And I can't tell you how difficult it was to do something as simple as grab lunch, grab a bite to eat, make plans. It was so difficult. There were times that I was actually out with these friends and they would get phone calls from whoever their babysitter was, whether it was their mother or their sister or whoever. And some of the conversations I heard, like how the mother had to explain to the child several times what time they were going to be home, or what they were out doing, or who they were with, or to reiterate over the phone to behave, or if you behave, I'll bring you a snack home. And I'm observing this, and I may have been about 23 at the time, fairly younger than I am now. But even at that time, just observing the conversation, I could not. I just couldn't. I couldn't digest how, like, what, who. I wasn't raised this way. Who's the parent? Like, it didn't make sense to me as a mother that you didn't have the freedom to do something as simple as grab a bite to eat. Now, I do understand that there's a huge amount of responsibility of raising a child. Your time is necessary for their attention and their development, and I get it. This is why I said what I said earlier, is that if your lifestyle is not prepared for dating, and these were just friends I was hanging out with, but it's essentially the same thing from the standpoint of availability and time. You have to be in a position to where your lifestyle can be accommodated for leisure, because dating is leisure. Dating is a practice. It requires an effort. And the person that's pursuing you is going to need your time. But anyway, back to what I was saying, what led me to where my outlook on dating single mothers was, I was traumatized, y'all. Like, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. Because even dealing with just hanging out with these young ladies, it was such a hassle. I could be in the middle of having a conversation about politics or business or religion or travel, and they would get a phone call. Now, granted, their mother, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I get it. I'm not that big of a, I'm not that bad to where I was like, no, it's about me, or it's about us, or it's about our time. No, take your phone call. But the content of the phone call, the lack of emergency that was there, the immediacy. There were phone calls that they would get based on, what type of candy to bring home before you got home. And then 30 minutes later, don't forget to get the orange juice, not the fruit punch, or like things that could have been text, things that could have been worked out before she even left the house that day. It was like there was no boundaries. There was no respect for her time that wasn't of the immediacy of being presently there with their child. And that's why I said, if you don't got your life stable, if your lifestyle is not set to be able to embody the freedom of dating, then don't date. Don't subject a man to your lack of responsibility and your lack of accountability. Because to me, as a man that's looking at a woman that has a child and doesn't have the freedom nor the sense to be able to organize something as simple as time for her kid to be looked after for extensive amount of time, non-emergency based things and whatnot, that made no sense to me. It's like if I was hanging out with you and I had a kid that my parents was watching or whoever was watching, they will understand before I went out. Hey, I'm going to go out with Lisa. I'm going to be gone from this time to this time. If it's an emergency, by all means, reach out to me. But if it's not an emergency, I trust that you can handle whatever this child probably needs. A snack, food, a video game, movies, whatever. There's a reason why you would entrust that individual watching your child in the first place. There's no reason why they should be calling you when you're out and you're not in the capacity of performing your parental duties out. It's just not. So what that echoes to a man like myself, and I'm going to assume most men of any type of quality and value, is that you're disorganized. You don't prepare, you don't plan, and you don't have any real control over your life. That's what it conveys. It's a scary thought to think that you will be signing up for this type of treatment, because ladies, that's what it is. It's a treatment. And in this case, it's a mistreatment. It's a disrespect to his time. You know, time is a commodity that you cannot get back. And whoever you decide that is going to occupy your time, that person should be grateful, should be appreciative. And if you are a single mother and you have a man of quality and value that is deciding to still pursue you again with the load that comes with you, then it's your job to make him feel the most comfortable. It's your job to make him want to stay. And I think that the disposition and the attitude and the outlook on this topic is misconstrued. It's backwards. It's not in the favor of the man at all. It's not in the benefit of understanding that we are people, we have values, we have feelings, we have morals, and what we want is also very much important. So, I wanted to talk about that today. I can definitely expand upon this. I feel like there may be a time that I may need to readdress this. There may be people who listen to the sound of my voice and have questions, and I welcome those. There's nothing that I say that I cannot back up or be willing to, put on display of a debate. I'm fine for that. But, truth be told, I have a heart for people, and I really want to do my best to try to give out, solid information that someone can take away, factor in, cross and compare to, other content creators, other information out there, but really gain a real perspective. Not enough of us men have had a platform to be able to give our side of the story when it comes to topics like this and, whatnot. So I wanted to just share with you guys today, just some tips and some things, that as a single mother, you need to address and tighten up, maybe consider, maybe look at as a valuable option. And then also to the men, we got options. You don't have to deal with anything less than what you feel is deserving of your time, your attention. And don't feel bad if she has a child and she's not handling her business to the level that is necessary. Because quite frankly, us as adults, we need to handle our business, whether you have a child, don't have a child, but especially if you have a child. You need to handle your business. You need to take care of your lifestyle. You need to create an environment where he doesn't feel the ramifications again of your lifestyle in a negative way. Create an environment where he wants to stay, ladies. That's what I'm saying. This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Again, when you get a chance, hit the like button, subscribe, share my video. And I'm going to keep bringing the content to you guys on a daily basis. I have so much to discuss, relative things to discuss. But thank you for your time. Signing out.